coming.
Check, check, check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hey, hey. Is that clean to you? Check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Yeah. Yes. Me? No. I'm good. I realize, Kyle, I don't think she can see us. Yeah. I realized that yesterday. Mhm. Okay.
It's Championship Sunday on the AVP Tour.
Yeah, you bet.
Hello, hello. Yep, here we are, live from Austin. Cam Irwin, Kyle Friend. We're back for more volleyball action.
I have a question. Yesterday during timeouts, the volume got raised during the timeout, and when Cam and I were talking, it was hard to hear us. Do you want us to be quiet during timeouts or continue to talk? I'm still confused. On the stream, it was just loud on the court, and then when I was talking with Cam, it was hard to hear us during that.
I don't. Yeah, and I don't actually think you might not need to do that. Kyle, it depends. Sometimes we pick up the audio and sometimes we don't. So if we are picking up their box audio, that's great.
It's Championship Sunday on the AVP Tour. New and old partnerships have been tested in the Austin Heat. For the men, Phil Dahlhauser and Andy Benish have made playing defense look like a walk through Zilker Park, while Sarah Pavin and Melissa Humana Paredes remain nearly errorless, not having dropped a single set. Who will melt down, and who will be the team to beat? It's time to crown some champions. Welcome to the AVP Austin Open. There is no better way to start your summer than with the Championship Sunday. And we're starting off in the beautiful state of Texas for the 2022 Austin Open. We've got a beautiful facility here at Krieg Fields, and let me tell you, it has been jam-packed with some epic volleyball action for the past 3 days. We've already got a few matches in store, but this one, let me tell you, it's the first of the season for Crabb versus Crabb. We couldn't start off Championship Sunday any better way. We've got Mark Sherman down on the sand to give you the perfect scene set. Take it away, Mark Sherman.
Well, hello there. Welcome back into Stadium Core. We had a good one, a tight one in our first match of the day, and I like to keep it going, and this is a fun one. Our first crab boil of the year. Yes, if you know what that means, then you're already excited. If you don't know what that means, it's time to let you know. First up, let's meet the Taylors, shall we? Oh my goodness, a very, very exciting team on the AVP Tour. Austin, are you excited about this brand new team? Oh my goodness, this first guy just absolutely flying. You see him on the hard court. He gets almost over the net. It's insane the things he does. And now he is bringing it to us on the beach. Let me hear it for Taylor Sander. And his partner, the first half of the Crab Boil, National Player of the Year on the indoor side. He was very impressive on the hard court as well, but no, he was made for the beach. He is always a beach guy out of Outrigger from the baby court in Honolulu. Let me hear it for Taylor Crabb. And as we get the first half of the Crab Boil, let's go to the second half of the Crab Boil, shall we? Yes, Taylor's brother, they started playing together on tour. We loved it when they played together, but let's be honest, we were all very excited when we knew they were playing apart to see them on opposite sides of the net. At a Long Beach State University in Honolulu, Hawaii, it is Trevor Crabb. And Trevor's partner, what an epic last year he has had. He got the call late, said, hey, buddy, we need you in Tokyo, and he represented the USA proudly, ladies and gentlemen. Let me hear it out of Honolulu, Mr. Bourne.
All right, the crab boil starts our morning here in Austin, Texas. Cameron Irwin alongside the one and only Kyle Friend. And the storylines are plenty, Kyle, but before they even get to first serve, what are some of your expectations for this one?
Thank you so much, Cam. Yes, here, Austin Open, the first crab versus crab meetup. And, you know, people had doubts with Taylor Sander joining the sand and joining Taylor Crabb, but I think those have been squashed as they've already found some success on the FIVB and now earning their way into the semifinals here, trying to get to the finals. It's going to be a fun one this morning.
And this is a match out of the contenders bracket. So this is actually the play-in to the semifinal on the men's side. So the winner of this will be moving on. We'll have potentially a few more matches today to get to that championship Sunday. Cameron Irwin alongside Kyle Friend. And that's Trevor Crabb with the serve. Working in the split blocking system. Trevor's already there for the dig. And how about the lefty cut of Bourne?
I expect to see some long rallies between these squads today. And right out the bat, Bourne pulling out the left hand, which we've seen from Phil, we've seen from Sarah Sponsel this weekend. Lefty the theme here in Austin.
Taylor with a quick snap, and I feel like I'm going to have to use last names here. But even then, it gets a little confusing because I could go Taylor and Taylor. You could go Crabb and Crabb. I don't know. This one might be a little confusing for everyone at home.
Confusing, exciting, all the things we want to see here in Austin.
And a miss serve from Taylor Sander, the two-time Olympian on the indoor side and bronze medalist. And actually, that's been something he's done exceptionally well in terms of the transition from indoor to beach. Already had a very solid weekend, second in aces in terms of aces per set here in Austin, coming into day number 3. Nearly an ace per set for him. Bourne in the backcourt, and again, they look at the option. And like Keanu Reeves, nice job by Bourne, staying away from that net.
The one benefit of being on the beach, you can go underneath the net, as we saw there from Bourne. As long as you don't touch that net and don't interfere with your opponent, then that is fair game. Impressive body control there from Bourne.
Quick snap, and how about that touch from Bourne? Can't finish it off. And you know, for this split blocking team of Tri and Trevor, it's interesting to see how teams go after them. Kind of depends on the strength of the opposing team. If you were going up against Tri and Trevor, what might be some things you have to keep in mind or that you may want to challenge?
Yeah, it's so difficult. Both of these players so skilled offensively. I think you got to pick your poison. If you are a team that can run down shots better, I think you want to serve Trevor. Trevor's vision is one of the best, as you see him score there, one of the best in the world. Bourne, no slump either, great vision, but a bit more power, a bit more angles. So I think if you're Taylor and Taylor, you're going to serve Trevor and trust Taylor Crabb's defense against his brother. I think that is going to be the game plan. We will see here, though, on center court.
And there you just got a chance to see some of the outline of the Taylor versus Trevor, the brothers, action. How about that shot from Taylor Sander?
Taylor Sander gets the kill on their second chance, 3-5.
Sander floating there like he had a parachute on his back hanging for that cut shot. One of the benefits of being so athletic is he just hangs and then hits that delicious little cut right there.
Speaking of power, there's Bourne from the left side, like you mentioned, bringing the pace.
I think Tri's favorite shot is that sharp cross-court swing. So look for him to keep working that. More angle, more angle, more angle for Bourne.
Sky Bourne and Trevor Crabb coming into the Austin AVP Open with a #1 seed next to their name after a few retirements. Mr. Jake Gibb moving on from the game of beach volleyball, at least in terms of competition. He's doing some great coaching. And then not to mention Phil Dahlhauser in and out of the lineup as Taylor Crabb gets a nice touch, but can't quite control it. We see Phil Dahlhauser hanging out here in Austin, though, playing alongside Andy Benish, filling in for Nick Lucena.
What a tournament by Phil and Andy so far. They have been so exciting to watch and taking it to some teams, you know, not expected of the blocker-blocker combination, but maybe that's the new trend here going into the season as you see an ace from Trevor Crabb.
Andy and Phil took down Came and Theo yesterday afternoon here in Austin, Texas. So they're on to the semifinals, as are Chase Buttinger and Troy Field. There's a big block from Tri Bourne.
Tough set for Crabb from all the way in the back of the court. It is 9-4.
There's another contenders bracket matchup happening at the same time on court #1. That's Kame Schock and Theo Brunner versus John Hayden and Logan Weber. You can catch all the action here on the AVP. Just cycled back out. Nice touch, but Trevor's all over it. Walk back by Taylor Sander.
Nice scoop here from Trevor. Good timing on the block there. That Trevor just not getting that ball high enough around that block of Taylor Sander. Consistency here from Bourne and Crabb, I think, is going to be the Achilles heel for Crabb and Sander.
Big broad jump there from Trevor Crabb. Delays it in. Try Bourne with the finesse. And how about the delay block, swap block down the line?
Hang time from Taylor Sander there on that SWAT block. Here we see that replay. Look at this big outstretched right arm scoop there from Crabby. And then here hanging is Sander. Unreal.
Nice touch. Gotta go on two. And the over the head flipper. Taylor Sander.
Athleticism on display here from Crabb and Sander, and Sander knows the game of volleyball. It might be a different surface. He knows how to play this game.
He misses that ball just wide, and they are trying to attack that sideline with Trevor Crabb. Well, and to your point, too, I caught up with Taylor Crabb about partnering with Taylor Sander, and he said, you know, everyone always talks about his indoor career, but little do they know, he was one of the best junior beach volleyball players out there. He spent a ton of the time on the stand as well growing up. So he knows what he's doing. It's just really about touch and some reps and the switch. But right there, he looks exactly like he knows what he's doing. Great cut shot from about 10 feet off.
Even though Sander a touch early on the swing, you got Tri Bourne on his heels because the respect of the whip from Taylor Sander.
Hi-ya, Sander was the call.
The first of many words, I think, from Trevor Crabb. And you know, on the other side, Sander and Taylor are going to have some words as well. But there you go, Trevor Crabb, bringing some heat early here in set #1.
But that was a great view in terms of the replay to see just the extent of Taylor Sanders' jumping ability. Oh! Big swing again. You got to respect that arm.
Sander returning the favor there, seeing Trevor, I see your swing and I raise you one.
That pattern continues. We're in for a doozy. They switch it up, go at try. Quick footwork from Bourne, and he hammers into the heavy angle.
12-9 as we will take our first technical timeout.
12-9 into the technical timeout. Now, Bourne and Crabb with the three-point advantage. Just look at the pace and the power. You see Taylor Crabb trying to slide into that angle. Taylor Crabb previously playing alongside the one and only Mr. Jake Gibb. So definitely working through the process, getting acquainted, getting into a system with his new partner, Taylor Sander. As you take a look at our bracket so far, the winner of this, well, who do they face? Andy Binish and Phil Dahlhauser. Can't wait to see what those two can do in a semi-final. And on the other side, like I mentioned, Brunner and Schultz versus Hayden and Weber. That's currently taking place out on court number 1. And the winner of that will face Troy Field and Chase Buttinger, who had an electric day yesterday. The service pressure of Troy Field notable, as he's currently leading the field in terms of total aces. I believe he has 10 after 2 days of play, and it has propelled that team to the semifinal.
So impressive from Troy Field. I know something he's been working on this offseason is serving. Troy, new to the game of volleyball when he started playing, so jump serving, one of those skills that just takes time to learn, and you see it developing. And with Troy's athleticism, such a weapon to have. If he can start hitting that serve consistently, watch out AVP.
Bourne and Crabb back out with the three-point advantage. And the vision yet again on display for Taylor Crabb. They call him the Bug. He just scatters across the court.
The Bug indeed, and here you see the Bug picking up that great pass, using his vision. A little angle block there by Trevor, but a ton of real estate for Taylor to hit that cut shot.
Just out of reach, just out of bounds. Is there a touch? No touch.
Try points inbounds, but our line official points high.
Come on.
Sander from the right, and challenging that block of Trevor Crabb. Crabb and Crabb have faced each other 16 times total. Taylor currently has the advantage 9-6 as you take a look at this last swing. Watch this jump and this breach. Trevor going as high as possible.
They'll keep the lead, Bourne Crabb, 3-2.
And for a player like Taylor Sander, when he goes up to swing, it just gives him more confidence knowing he can be aggressive and use the top of the block. So it's his advantage here when he's attacking.
Oh, Trevor read that so well, but just a little bit too shallow in his placement. A lot of teams I've seen do this, and even on the international level right now, is they've been putting up the angle block in front of Taylor Sander and kind of working with that late line call, so going with that 4 call. Be interested to see how much is utilized for Try and Trevor. Big block, but out of bounds. Kyle, talk to me a little bit about timing of blocking, because you have so many jobs, so much area to cover as a blocker.
It's so important to not get stuck on the ball. I think early blockers in their career, we tend to watch the ball too long. The ball's not going to tell you anything. You got to see it and then pick up your hitter immediately. Your hitter's approach, their speed, that's going to tell you what they're going to do, and that's going to help you get more blocks as you see this wild touch there from Bourne. And Trevor Crabb finishing it off. What a play. Try putting his hands up to the crowd.
But that's exactly to your point as they look for the switch. I mean, that was a perfect example. Watch the timing and the delay here. Trevor Crabb doing such a nice job. He goes up and actually makes a play on that as he's falling back to the ground, trying to make sure he covers that side of the court in that position. So really nice job by Trevor, but It's also fun to watch Bourne and Crabb kind of go at it with one another in terms of both having blocking responsibilities in that split blocking system. Trevor been spending a lot more time focused on his blocking, and the same for Tri, but on down defense. Calling down defense just fascinating to him. How about that touch from Taylor Crabb?
The one-handed flipper set, it was good. Swing is long, it's 6-3.
Yeah, Trevor Crabb is one of the best guys. You can ask anyone on tour. One of the best SWAT blockers on the tour. His timing is impeccable. Maybe he's not going to get a ton of huge stuffs on big swings, but the swatting is what Trevor does so well. Something to keep an eye out for your tight ball.
Somehow finding a way to get that to the line.
Trevor and Tri going to have a conversation as to whether that ball was on the other side of the net. But I don't think they're going to win this one.
I think our referee up there, John King, had a great view of it, or maybe they're looking for an open hand, perhaps. Don't think they're going to get it, though. The best in the biz, John King.
John, we're going to chat about that one after, just to make sure I know what I'm talking about.
Wind blowing wildly here in Austin, Texas.
No controversy about that one. 17-14.
Currently wind at the back of Tri and Trevor. Our flags are flying. If you're just joining us, it's been about 100 degrees here in Austin for the last 2 days, and these athletes for 48 straight hours have just been grueling and groveling through this heat. Another nice high swing. You know, that's something he definitely can bring from the indoor side of the game. That's huge, being able to go and find those hands and chisel high.
As an outside hitter on the indoor circuit on the World Tour, your job is to use and abuse the block, identify it, and find the corners and the areas that you can swing at. And that's what Sander does so well out here on the beach. He's not afraid of the block. He makes the block his best friend and finds ways to use it.
Tri Bourne and Trevor Crabb still maintaining a steady advantage. Played at 21 points. That's tough. Again, maybe the ball falling a little bit too much with that wind.
Exactly my thoughts. Cam, you took the words right out of my mouth. Wind at his back, and those balls just drift. Those balls will just drift right on you. You got to be careful.
That's a tough serve, but a great play from Trevor. Set in transition. Oh, Taylor Crabb. Yeah, check yourself, bro.
Taylor Crabb here patiently, and then just detonating down the line. And a little stare down at his brother after. You just have to love it. This is what the fans came out to see here in Austin.
One-point game. Make it 2. Big time side out from Tri Bourne. Ron Swanson with a huge swing.
Taylor Sander here, elevating and detonating, and Trevor nowhere. Arms a little too slow, a little olé there from Trevor Crabb.
Overhead dig and another slap shot. Taylor's there.
Trevor, come on.
Check down. And a net violation. We are all tied up.
This dig with Taylor on his hands, impressive. But more impressive is this pickup over here on the line. And then good body control here from Taylor to stay clean, but Tri just drifting into the net there. So a break for Sander and Crabb here.
13 apiece, and they have just stuck with it. That's Taylor Sander and Trevor Crabb. Take a look at some of those efficiencies. Crabb and Sander, 476 at this point. And you know, Kyle, I actually was doing a little bit of looking into defense because you've got the split block of Bourne and Trevor Crabb. So to give you just a little bit of context into some other numbers, Andy Benish and Phil Dahlhauser also split blocking on the weekend. In terms of digs per set, Bourne and Trevor Crabb as a combo, about 5.67 on the weekend. Phil and Andy, 7.29 digs combined.
Austin, how do you feel about this?
Unbelievable. You know, in my mind, I feel like that is because they have some length defensively, and then I think that opponents maybe underestimate their ability to touch balls, and so there's a maybe a bit more laxness for attackers going up to swing against those double blockers.
Yeah, as Bourne out of the timeout, just demolishes the option play and gets Bourne and Crabb the set point. Tough serve, line to line. In a box, but Trevor says, easy.
Coming very close.
Again, shove back. Crabb with the muscle. The last ball. What a rally to close out set number one. Bourne and Trevor Crabb.
Victoria, how are we doing?
Crazy rally there, a joust to end that first set, and some words from Trevor Crabb. Look at this joust, the bug hanging there on the net.
You
gotta love when the little guy wins the joust, right?
For my man Trevor and Brian.
We knew we were going to be having a good time this morning here in Austin, Texas with this one on the slate. We have set number 2 coming back, and Kyle, I have a feeling we might be going 3.
The AVP is brought to you by KT Tape, helping athletes of all levels train longer and finish stronger. By the official game ball sponsor, Wilson Sporting Goods, bringing you power and performance. Be sure to shop the optics at wilson.com. By Waikea Hawaiian Volcanic Water. Live Aloha. Drink Waikea at waikea.com. And by Waste Management. From recycling to renewable energy, we are working hard for a sustainable tomorrow.
Dear Mainland, aloha. My brother and I hear lots of you have discovered a real Hawaiian favorite, Big Wave Golden Ale. That's the good kind of stuff, yeah, bro. Maybe it's the island flavor that makes each sip taste like a little vacation.
Got your beers here.
That's a whole lot of little vacations right there, huh, brother? That's like a big vacation. Retirement. One life, right? Mahalo. Big Wave Golden Ale from Kona Brewing.
In the semifinals.
Back to championship court coverage because we are waiting to find out who is going to sneak here at the AVP Open. You're not going to want to miss the second set. Trevor Crabb, Taylor Crabb. Take a look at those numbers. It's brother on brother crime. Cameron Irwin alongside Kyle Friend. Second set is now underway.
Who doesn't love a little family bonding here on Stadium Court? The Crabb brothers, originally partners early on in their career as they joined the AVP, eventually splitting up and finding different partners, but it's always a treat to watch them play each other.
Taylor Crabb trying to make a bit of an adjustment on that set. This team's still so new, playing with one another. Got to find a little bit of rhythm in their past set game. Winner to base, Andy Bennett and Phil Dahlhauser. That's a nice shot right there from Taylor Sander.
The one thing that isn't new on Taylor Crabb's side is Coach Rich Lamborn, who was with Taylor and Jake during their Olympic run. So some consistency there as they bring in the new Taylor to join that threesome. Nice play at the net from Sander.
Little handcuff dig from Taylor Crabb. Quick last few steps just underneath. And again, another great shot from Trevor Crabb, making things look easy in terms of placement.
Trevor Crabb right now using his vision. He's got 7 kills. He's hitting 375, and there you see it on full display in transition. Kind of busted, but he does such a good job of keeping that ball in front of his face, keeping his vision. That lets him score more and more points.
You talked about Rich Lamborn being under the umbrella for Crabb and Sander. Bourne and Crabb also working with a new coach, Jose Loyola, moving on, taking a full-time role with USA Beach Volleyball. Big block again. There's Taylor Sander.
Sander with his second block here so far. Let's see this lineup. Late into the line, you see Sander starting vertically and then moving late into the line. A little show and tell from Taylor Sander.
4-3 in terms of the side switch. Taylor Sander, maybe a little bit more undersized as a blocker, has to get creative. On the weekend so far, he's got an average of 1 block per set. But as he continues his career on the beach volleyball side, I suspect that number will go much higher. Because you do see him starting to make plays a little bit more outside of his body line. And Taylor was up at the net. That's Taylor Crabb.
I think blocking as you transition from indoor to beach is one of the things that is so different, because it's just one-on-one. Instead of you having a couple guys up at the net blocking with you, the timing, the vision, it's all a little bit different. So definitely something that's going to improve with Taylor Sander.
How about that read from Trevor Crabb, again in the backcourt, trying to get the fans here in Austin on his side, because that's not an easy play to have to make.
Look at this, staying low. So Trevor Crabb on that run there defensively, you can't stay high when you run. You got to stay low and move low. That way you get those balls that are low to the ground.
Nice footwork from Taylor.
It does just trickle out of bounds, and it's forward.
Trying to find the hands there of Sander.
Trevor touching a lot of balls right now defensively, looking like he's locked in here and making really good reads. Just need to turn some of these defensive touches.
Nice platform. That is what you call the epitome of being in system for Bourne and Crabb.
Yeah, in system, Bourne and Crabb is tough to defend. There's a reason why they are the #1 ranked team here in this event and one of the best teams in the world.
Good eye from Sander. It is out of bounds. It's 5-7. They were Crabb at the line.
Another misserve. Bourne and Trevor Crabb coming into this match after taking a loss to Chase Buttinger and Troy Field on the day yesterday. They didn't quite look like themselves, and they were coming off up against a team that was serving wildly from the back line. And also a new partnership trying to figure out how to best play them. Nice big Taylor Crabb. Five. That is called finesse. Taylor Crabb is everywhere.
Taylor Crabb here. Look at this run with the lefty scoop and then gather himself. Okay, a little inside. I'll just slide approach here and hit this baby cut right in front of my buddy, Bourne.
Oh, Taylor was there for that one as well, but he watches it fall wide.
I love the "I'm here" call from Taylor Crabb. Even though that ball's out of bounds, I'm going to let you know that it's not available.
And Taylor's there, right? You can see if you're watching at home. I'm going to be watching Taylor Crabb defensive movements right now because he's so quick to the ball and he's reading that so well. And he's there at that ball, knowing that ball's out. He's got plenty of time. He's all over the court right now, the bug.
And that's the beauty of a deep swing into the court. So often we see these guys, and women for that matter, want to swing straight down. But man, being able to attack the depth of the court is a real advantage.
You're going to score a lot of points if you can swing deep and hit those back sidelines. If you can hit corner and middle every time, you're going to win every game.
Great play from Bourne up the net. Taylor's up there. And somehow, Crabb and Bourne end up on the winning side of that point, making plays left and right.
Beautiful set that Crabb had to be up there for.
That touch from Bourne off the block, outstretched here, about 5 feet from him. One of the hardest plays to make as a blocker. That touch right there, wow. And then a good save from Trevor. Let's keep that ball in play.
And I love that. I love a quick first ball side out from Crabb and Sander right back, especially after a wild play. It feels like that just shifts momentum instantly. Here's a look at Sander at the back line. Again, one of the toughest servers on the weekend. Got 5 aces to his name. He tries to run up. That's going to be a challenge. Not used to it. That's not indoor. You don't have to serve and run and block. What is this?
No, that is not indoor, and that is the one challenge as a big server. And as you see the option game being implemented more and more on tour and in the world, you get stuck in no man's land. You got to make a quick decision there.
Hold the hands down, and you better think twice, Taylor Crabb says.
Hands or no hands out there, Taylor was
so unassuming there. You think Taylor Crabb's going in there for a cut or a baby poke or something. No, he's going in to hammer there. Surprise.
And there's about that 70% swing from Trevor Crabb. Yeah, he's got a lot more in his arm than that. But changing the pace is also challenging for the defender, not just in terms of shot selection.
And that's what Trevor needs to do if he wants to beat Taylor, because Taylor's so quick. Kind of throw some pace in there, keep Taylor honest.
And that ball's out of bounds wide, 12-9.
12-9 again. So if you remember back to the first set, the same score in terms of the technical timeout, 12-9 with Bourne and Crabb on top. And it's talk about defense, especially when you're talking about Taylor Crabb. He has 6 digs as an average on the weekend. But there's also a name I got to give a little extra love to, because it was fun chatting with Eric Baranek leading up to this tournament, as you take a look at what is at stake, as Brunner and Schock are now going to face Buttinger and Field in the semifinal on the men's side. Benish and Dahlhauser still awaiting the winner of this matchup. But in regards to Eric Baranek, the guy was digging 6 balls on average. That's the same as Taylor Crabb. He spent more time focused on volleyball than he ever has in the offseason before. So I want to give a big shout out to Eric Baranek on the performance he had on the weekend, because he ended up with 60 digs in 10 games played. It's pretty wild. As the other person with 6 digs, that man right there, Taylor Crabb, 6 digs per set on average. He's got 54 coming into today, and he's going to add a few more in already. I believe he's up to 9 at this point in the match.
And well-deserved recognition for Eric Baranek. I mean, to be in the same class as talking about digs with Taylor Crabb, one of the best in the world, it just proves to you that hard work pays off, and Eric Baranek has been putting in the work, and he's deadly defensively. He's like Energizer Bunny, never stops moving. He's full of sand when he's done playing. It's all over his body, it's all over his mullet. And he is a fun player to watch.
Well, it's interesting too when you look at the team makeups, right? You got Taylor Sander, a little bit more of an undersized blocker, about 6'4". I know that's wild to say undersized, but in terms of the international landscape, that may be the case as that ball goes long. But it's kind of the same thing as Eric Baranek partnered up with Avery Drost, and so maybe a little bit more opportunity for transition and defensive play for their defenders, Taylor and Eric. But nonetheless, look for those big time transition moves and big digs. And there's the option yet again, challenging Taylor Sander on that block.
And it's just smart volleyball here by Bourne and Crabb, taking advantage of the serving Sander. And then Sander got to make a quick split decision there to stay, to run, and play D on that option swing. It makes it so challenging for defenses.
Well, you saw the numbers flash across your screen. 24 of the last 29 semifinals Tri-Bourne has been a part of. He's played.
Forcing one down in the sharp angle. Trevor Crabb gets it for the forward quick enough. It's 4-1.
This team of Tri and Trevor, I love talking with them because they are the #1 seed here in Austin, but to quote Tri-Bourne, he said, we're there kind of by default. After the scrambles and retirements, they said, we want to earn this. We are not fully satisfied as a team. We want to wear that #1 proudly because of what we have done as a team. So they're going to try and prove it to themselves and everyone else out there. I love that approach from Tri and Trevor. If you want to know more about the game of beach volleyball, a great place to go to is the Standcast. Mr. Tri-Bourne, who gets the touch there, puts his hands back up, letting them know he's all over it. Trevor Crabb back up. Overhead dig. Some scrappy play up at the net, Kyle.
Trevor Crabb with the finger wave, the Matumbo finger wave to the crowd, but he earned it after this little scoop here. Look at this rundown from Trevor Crabb, and then a little bit of heat and too much to handle for his younger brother, Taylor.
Let's take a side switch at 12-16.
One of my favorite reasons to watch Taylor Crabb play volleyball is when you're there and you're just witnessing him and his hand contact, how soft his hand is on the ball. I mean, you can barely hear it. You're right next to him.
It's years and years of touch growing up on the shores of Oahu, playing baby court at outrigger. He's been doing that since he was just a kid, and that is why the touch is so pure.
Trevor Crabb still maintaining some of those nice shots from the right side, making sure that high line is nice and quick to outrun the speed of his brother. Ace serve, Bourne.
And that one stings there for Crabb and Sander as Tri gets that ace and expanding their lead to 6 here, 18-12. Crabb and Sander have a little bit of work to do, and they're on the good side. Let's see if they can chip away.
Trevor! Off his head! Oh, come on! Oh.
13-18.
Looking for potentially the ball going off of his head. Maybe 3, 6, 9 contacts, not sure there, but nonetheless. Nice stab by Taylor Crabb.
The controlled one-arm stab from Taylor Crabb. 4 ace.
Right back into flow is Taylor Crabb there after that little discussion with John King. No worries, he's back defensively, getting the touches, and then turning them in transition. And that's what makes Taylor so deadly, is his ability to score.
Playing that out of the net. And all of a sudden, a little bit more momentum on the side of Crabb and Sander. Just 3 points divide these two teams in set number 2. And if you're new to the game of beach volleyball, we're playing 2 out of 3 points, games to 21. Bourne and Crabb gonna take a second here in terms of a timeout. Crabb and Sander have had quite the journey here in Austin, Texas. They picked up their first round win against Eric Brannick and Avery Dross. Then they faced the number 2 seed, Andy Benish and Phil Dahlhauser. That was a fun match to watch and witness on Friday afternoon. That went 3 sets. Benish and Dahlhauser ending up with the victory 15-12 in the 3rd set. Then they won against Tim Baumgren and Peter Marciniak. Just 2 points separated each of those 2 sets, 21-19, 25-23. And then to get into this matchup, this play into the semifinal, they had to take down Evan Corey and Billy Kalinsky yesterday. So this is their 5th match here in Austin, Texas. If they win, they would have to then go on to play in the semifinal. If they win that, back into the final. So a lot of volleyball on the side of Taylor and Taylor, if that is the case. For Tri and Trevor, well, they have played 3 to this point, so just their 4th match of action here in Austin, Texas. And that's something that has to be noted just because of the attrition and the heat and the exhaustion so many of these athletes have faced.
And that, at the beginning of these events, should be extra motivation for these teams to secure these wins early so they can play less matches overall. Because like you said, Cam, the heat will wear on you and slowly chip away at your conditioning.
Pulling out the hands, and my goodness, hanging his hands like he's reaching for a cookie in the cookie jar. Bourne with a massive block.
And a timely one at that, giving Bourne and Crabb a 4-point lead here.
Try wanted back-to-back. You could see the full extension there on the block. Thought Taylor was going to take a rip.
If ever there were a time to root on your team, it is right now in set number 2. What are you going for Taylor?
16-19. Crabb and Sander now on the bad side, which means wind at their back. Sander just puts the ball in play. Option play, but it's popped up with a little help from the net.
Oh, try Bourne taking out the hands for the 16-foot set. Open net. And the puck is hit it because the overpass.
Taylor Crabb here keeping this play alive and then finishing it with the overpass kill. Not easy to do coming from that far away, but no problem for Taylor Crabb.
17-19. And it feels like Taylor Crabb is sitting in that angle, but it's just about a foot of difference to his left side.
And I spoke about it earlier, Bourne's favorite swing is that sharp angle. So look for players late in the match to go to what they do best. And Taylor is baiting him into that. It's just a second late to getting that scoop into the angle. There's too much precision there, too much pace from Bourne.
Well, and that's a great point you make as Crabb and Sander decide to take a timeout here as it is match point. But it's a great point you make about baiting an attacker into a shot. Maybe if you're an amateur volleyball player, you don't realize how much of that actually takes place, not only from a blocking team, we have our 3 and our 4 calls, but also as a defender. What are some of the things that they can do to be deceptive and bait attackers into certain plays?
So right there, you saw Taylor Crabb line up just off the shoulder of Taylor Sander into that angle defense. Taylor Sander blocking line, Taylor Crabb digging into the angle. But right at the last second, after that set is up and he notices Bourne's going to swing, he takes a slight hop step into that sharper angle. And so he's sitting in the middle waiting, saying, hey, you can hit that sharp angle if you want, it's open. And then he sees him approach, attack, identifies it, and then he's going to step right in there and try to dig that. Unfortunately, just a second late. So it's all about, as that attacker comes in, what are they seeing? And then after they take their eyes off the defender, what is that defender doing? Is it a hop step to the left? Is it a hop step to the middle? So as a defense, especially Taylor Crabb, who is so dynamic and so well versed in the mythology of defense, look for him to bounce and play along with the vision of these attackers.
Great analysis from my friend, your friend, all of our friend, Kyle Friend. It is now match point, Bourne and Crabb. Not so fast, says Taylor Crabb. And to pay off the Taylor versus Trevor, you saw some of the stat lines there between the two brothers in terms of digs nearly knotted up, 11 and 13 apiece. 18-20. Is it a side out for the win? Not so fast. Another great and timely block from Taylor Sanders.
It's 19-20.
Huge block from Taylor Sander here, right when the Taylors needed it most, sealing that line and pressing over to secure that block, giving him block number 4 of this match.
No, it does not. Bourne for the win. Heavy swing into the angle. You gotta love the aggressiveness to finish off this match. Bourne and Crabb moving on to the semifinals.
Austin, give it up one more time for Crabb, Sander, Crabb, Bourne.
Heck of a match there that we got to see every time the Crabb brothers step on the court. You got to bring your popcorn. But again, consistency here from the #1 seed, Bourne and Trevor Crabb, doing what they do best, siding out, playing defense, but high-flying athleticism all around here.
Well, if this is any much of a preview of what we will see on the 2022 season from Taylor Crabb and Taylor Sander, we are going to have an epic summer. A big congrats to Bourne and Trevor Crabb, though, as they will be heading on to the semifinal. And if you want to see some big-time swings yet again, well, it's going to be Andy Benish and Phil Dahlhauser versus those two right there. The #1 seed versus #2.